the realistic perspective, is it not a problem in the realistic perspective? Let us look at the same analogy here. I am a Jiva. I am sitting in a room. I have closed my eyes. I have put a blanket around me. There is no electricity in my house and it is pitch dark. Okay. So even the Jiva is self-luminous. Brahman may be Vibhu, Jiva may be Anu, but still he is self-luminous in the sense that he knows he exists. But the question there is, if he is self-luminous, why does he not know his true nature? Why does he not experience his bliss? Why does he not know that there is the supreme being who is inside him as his Antaryamin? Why is there so much ignorance in the inner core of the Jiva, such as you and I? So the realistic view then says, this is the Achintya Adbhuta Shakti of the Supreme who is inside you as his Antaryamin. He is capable of doing that because he is an omnipotent being who uses Prakriti as a wheel to give that ignorance of yourself, relationship with the Supreme, and also your relationship to the external world. The question from the realistic perspective is, why does he do it? If he is so, if he is so merciful, if he is so benevolent, why does he do it? Why does he let the jivas forget these things? So I have just put a question there, and I just want one of you to take this on because I've been going on for a long time. So who wants to answer this question as to why should God do that? Why should he give us the ignorance and let us suffer in this material world? So who wants to take that question? Okay, so Deval.
Isn't it so that, I mean, I'm looking at that figure and I remember you saying something in previous lectures about giving time for something to mature.
Brilliant, Devalji. Perfect answer. So that is the God's way. It is, this material universe is our examination. So we have to pass this exam and come out in flying colors. What is our flying colors? Is our liberation. So that is what we just call Satya Sankalpa. This is the design of the universe. The jivas have to do that exam called Samsara, and when they are matured enough, then they come out into liberation. So Sutra, Brahma Sutra again deals with this. There is a very, very important sutra called Pumsatvadivas Asya Sato Abhivyakta Yogat. So it compares to how when you are a child of 4 years, you don't become childbearing. Yeah, when you are a child, a lady, a girl, for example, doesn't become childbearing. She has to grow, she has to mature into an adult, then she becomes childbearing. Similarly, a male, he has to grow before he can generate that seed. So everything needs maturity, and that is what the Supreme does with his great mercy and Achintya Adbhuta Shakti, that he not only provides this material universe for the souls to work out their salvation, but in doing so, he gives them time. Each soul has its own rate of maturity. And when they are matured, he offers them that liberation. Okay, so how does that happen? I just wanted to remind you from Chandogya Upanishad, chapter 6, when we did this verse, Yata Somya Purusham Gandharebhyo Abhinadaksha Aniya Tam Tato Atijane Visrujet. Tasya Yata Tatra Prangva Udangva Agangva Pradyangva Pradmayita Abhinadaksha Anito Abhinadaksha Visrushtaha. Tasya yata abhinahanam pramuchya prabruyet etam disham gandhara etam disha vraja iti sagramad gramam pruchan pandito medavi gandharena upasampadyet etameva iha acharyavan purusho veda tasya tavadeva chiran yavan vimokshe Ata sampatsya iti saya esha anima aitadatmyam idam sarvam tat satyam sa atma tattvamasi shvetaketo. So if you remember, the 7th example is exactly about this, of this Jiva has been put into the forest with his eyes covered, and it doesn't know where to go. But what does the Jiva do? It talks, it gets directions from different individuals and eventually makes its way to Gandhara. So that is that is what our journey is, and that is what actually samsara is from a realistic perspective. So I hope you were able to appreciate the polemics and the extreme views. They are in two different spectrums, the monistic views and the realistic views, as to where ignorance is, why do we need to take the ignorance out, and what is our destination. So I hope in the last 1.5 classes that I've been able to give you an introduction of this area, but it is actually much more complex and much more fascinating than that. But that is for our own self-study. My humble plea here is, without doing our own research and understanding, we should never accept any dogmas, whatever the dogmas might be. We should actually go and do our own research rather than just clapping our hands and say, what an interesting philosophy. No, it is our duty to do our own journey and understand what the truth actually is. Okay. So, as I said, in the realistic perspective, this Supreme, with his Achintya Adbhuta Shakti, gives the ignorance. And what does this Supreme do? What types of ignorance? And the Shastras discuss about Paramachadika, Jivachadika. Paramachadika means the ignorance that is a veil or a curtain between the Jiva and Brahman. Jivachadika is a certain inner aspect of the Jiva itself is concealed. And also there is an ignorance of what is the relationship between the Jiva and the external world. That what is that ignorance? The ignorance that the Jivas think that they have a sense of independence and they identify with the material body. So this is what the whole concept of ignorance is. Yeah. So what do? We have Linka Sharira, we acquire Stula Sharira, then we go through Samsara. When we do sadhanas, we eradicate our karmas, and then we go to Chaturmukha Brahma in Satyaloka, and then we cross the Viraja Nadi, and then we attain liberation. So again, Jayatirtha in one of his works makes a beautiful statement. Paramatmano Atyanta Binnasya Jiva is infinitely different from Brahman. Of course, chapter 15 of Bhagavad Gita is all that. That is what it is about. The last 15. Dva yumau purusho loke kshara akshara evacha ksharaha sarvani bhutani kutasto akshara uchyate uttamaha purushastu anyaha paramatma iti udakrutaha. Anyaha. That is exactly what Jayatirtha is saying here. Paramatmano atyanta binnasya. But what is the situation of the Jiva? Swataha chit ananda atmakasya pi jivasya. Jivas have swataha ana chit and ananda. But why are they not able to experience that? Anadi avidya. It is because of the anadi avidya, ignorance. What has happened because of ignorance? Kama, desires, self-desire. Because of that, what has happened? Karma. Anadi kama karmadi nimitto, and he goes on. So Jayatirtha captures the sequence very well in this. HinduKnowledgeAcademy.com will celebrate Vedic culture and present its philosophies to the modern Hindu in an accessible format. Our ancient heritage is our greatest strength. Through preservation and dissemination, together let us spread positivity in the world. Thank you for listening and welcome to Hindu Knowledge Academy.